Hello everyone, with the Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the Caribbean. It is Wednesday evening, February 8th, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Also feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any other related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. I respond to all comments and I really live for this stuff. Alright, so let us take a look at the significant feature map across the Atlantic for this evening. We can see that we have a high pressure ridge to the north of the Caribbean, sending a lot of easterly winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. And to the north of the Caribbean, we can see a cold front. And if you actually take a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, we can see a lot of low-level clouds moving along in that easterly wind, all due to that high pressure across the main development region into the Caribbean. And we can also see a line of clouds right here stretching from the northern section of North Atlantic all the way down into portions of the Turks and Caicos and the Bahamas. We'll be talking more about that later on. Let's focus our attention on the prediction that was made yesterday for today's weather. It was stated that in the morning we would have received some amount of rainfall across sections of northern and eastern Jamaica, then spreading to sections of western Jamaica during the afternoon. And what ended up happening? A post was made at 6 a.m. on our Twitter page highlighting some amount of rainfall across sections of northern and eastern Jamaica, just as predicted. And then another post was made at 8:41 a.m. highlighting some more clouds bring overcast skies and or showers to sections of this very same spots, northern and eastern Jamaica. So sections of Trelawney, maybe St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland and St. Thomas got in on some of that weather. And we even had confirmation from one of our commenters on Instagram who stated it's raining in St. Anne's Bay now. If you actually take a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, we can see that the concentration of clouds for this afternoon was across sections of Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, as well as inland areas of Clarendon and Manchester. And if you actually take a look at the infrared satellite loop, we can see that we had some amount of cloud that went high up in the atmosphere and became thunder clouds. We even had some sparkling white dots in there across sections of Westmoreland that indicates some amount of lightning flashes as well. Let's talk about the temperatures for tonight. We can see that right now we have 25 degrees Celsius in Morant Bay. We can see that we have 25 degrees Celsius in Savlamar, and these temperatures should be lowering as the night progresses. If we actually take a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, for the most part, Jamaica should be receiving average temperatures, if not at least 1 degree Celsius above average temperatures. That's what we see for the forecast for Thursday on both the Euro and the GFS. And what are the average temperatures for the month of February? 86 degrees Fahrenheit. And when that's calculated on the thermometer, the equivalent of 86 degrees Fahrenheit is about 30 degrees Celsius. So anywhere from 30 to 31 degrees Celsius is what is expected across Jamaica for tomorrow. We can still see that Jamaica is embedded in a lot of yellows, oranges and reds, which is indicative of a lot of dry air across the region. If we want moist air, we'll have to see more yellows and blues. If we actually take a look at the Saharan dust forecast for tomorrow, at 2 p.m. on Thursday, we can see that Jamaica is in the clear. Majority of the dust is all the way over there by Africa, as well as the southern main development region. If we take a look at the wave heights for tomorrow, both the Euro and the GFS have majority of the highest waves, up to at least 2 to 3 meter wave heights, to the far south and the east of Jamaica. And why is that? If we take a look at the wind forecast on both the Euro and the GFS, the wind forecast, we can see the winds coming in from the east, and the strongest winds seem to be right there to the far south of Jamaica. Anywhere from 25 to 30 knot winds is what's expected out there. So all the marine interests, do take the necessary precautions so that you are not that drastically affected. If you actually take a look at the shear map for tomorrow, for the most part Jamaica seems to be getting some form of westerly wind shear. So if there's some amount of afternoon convection, these clouds will be blown off towards the east, and it might cause some of these afternoon thunder showers to stray and stay long periods over a specific area. If you actually take a look at the precipitation forecast for tomorrow, at 12 a.m. tonight, midnight, we can see some amount of blues that represent rainfall across sections of northern Jamaica. Where's that? St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. That's tonight at 12 a.m. And if we actually take a look at the GFS model, there's consensus on the very same spots, maybe even spilling into sections of St. Thomas right there. Which one will win? If you actually take a look 4 hours ahead at 4 a.m., we can still see a lot of blues across sections of northern Jamaica. On the GFS, we can still see the same right there. Moving ahead in time at 11 a.m., we'll still see some blues across sections of northern and eastern Jamaica on both maps. And moving ahead to about 3 p.m., we can see that the blues have shifted to being across sections of central and western parishes in Jamaica. So if you have plans tomorrow, please bring your rain gear with you. If you actually take a look at the accumulated precipitation forecast for tomorrow, both the Euro and the GFS models are showing some amount of rainfall across the island for tomorrow. So more than likely, northern and eastern Jamaica for the morning hours, then during the afternoon across western Jamaica. Either way, both maps are in consensus that it will rain sometime tomorrow. So please take the necessary precautions so that you're not that drastically affected. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let's talk briefly about the rest of the Caribbean. So we can see a lot of clouds associated with that cold front affecting portions of the Turks and Caicos and the Bahamas. We can see some amount of clouds right there to the east of the Leeward Islands as well. And if you actually take a look at the Doppler radar images before the sun went down, we can see that we have a lot of rainfall across portions of the Leeward Islands. So areas from about 1 p.m. today, such as Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. John's, Montserrat, Guadeloupe, Dominica, gotten on some amount of rainfall, and they are still in for a lot more rainfall, considering that there are lots of clouds to the east of there, so they might be getting in on some amount of isolated flash flooding in some spots as well. If we actually take a look at the Barbados radar, even the areas in and around Barbados aren't being spared. They have lots of rain to get, and they've been receiving rainfall today and should be receiving more rainfall tonight. We see some bands coming in from the east. If we actually take a look at the areas to the west and north of Barbados, we can see that the Barbados radar is showing rainfall across sections of Tobago, sections of Grenada, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Martinique, Guadeloupe, all of those areas across even the Windward Islands getting in on some amount of rainfall tonight into tomorrow. If you actually take a look at a wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see some amount of rainfall across portions of Colombia, Guyana, as well as Suriname right there. If you actually take a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, both the Euro and the GFS are still showing above normal temperatures for sections of the eastern United States, the Gulf of Mexico, Florida, the Bahamas, Cuba, portions of Central America including Mexico, Belize, Guatemala and Honduras, even portions of Nicaragua and Panama getting in on those above normal temperatures. But we can see that we have average temperatures, if not slightly below normal temperatures, across portions of the eastern half of Hispaniola, sections of Puerto Rico, sections of majority of the eastern Caribbean, and we can also see the same across sections of the ABC Islands as well. If we actually look at the Saharan dust map for 2 p.m. on Thursday, we can see some amount of browns right there across sections of Venezuela, sections of maybe Barbados, but it won't be that drastic, especially considering the rainfall and the amount of moisture across that very spot. Majority of the dust associated with the browns and the Sahara Desert is across sections of the main development region and Africa. If you actually take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, both the Euro and the GFS on Thursday have the purples that represent 2 meter wave heights or at least 3 meter wave heights to the south of Jamaica, as well as portions of the northeastern Caribbean. So the eastern sections of the northeastern Caribbean, as well as the northern sections of Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, that's where the strongest or the highest wave heights will be. And why is that? Because the high pressure is that's to the north of the Caribbean will be sending a lot of east-northeasterly winds across the area. You can see that both the Euro and the GFS have the strongest wind across sections of the Turks and Caicos, sections of the Leeward Islands, so the US and British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, as well as those areas to the south of Hispaniola and Jamaica across the open waters of the Caribbean, as well as those areas right there to the north of Colombia. Lots of strong winds are expected in those spots. Anywhere in the green, that's where we're going to be receiving at least 10 to 20 knot winds coming in from the east northeast. If let's talk precipitation forecast now, so we can see that cold front that's affecting portions of the Turks and Caicos. We can see the line, the trailing of showers associated with that. By the way, this map is showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Thursday, and we can see that we have some rainfall, less than an inch of rainfall across portions of the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos still to get. Portions of Hispaniola, Eastern Dominican Republic, to get some amount of rainfall, at least up to 0.5 of an inch of rainfall. We can see some greens across sections of Puerto Rico. Not that drastic on the Euro, but the GFS is showing more rainfall, especially across eastern Puerto Rico. We can see that patch of clouds is going to be bringing a lot more rainfall across those very areas across the Windward Islands that we mentioned. So Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique are in for some amount of rainfall for tomorrow, and both maps are showing consensus with at least up to an inch or more for rainfall across those spots. So there might be some amount of isolated flash flooding in those areas. If you actually scroll down now and look at Trinidad, we can see that they're in for some rainfall, especially across eastern Trinidad, up to at least 0.5 of an inch of rainfall. Section of northern Venezuela as well. Not to mention the border right there between Colombia and Venezuela to in store for some rainfall, up to an inch as well. Sections of Costa Rica as well as Nicaragua are to be getting some amount of rainfall as well. Switching over to the western portion of the basin, we can see that we have a lot of rainfall right there across portions of the open waters of the Gulf of Mexico, even up to an inch of rainfall, and that is due in part by that system that's affecting portions of the southern United States at this time that we showed at the first image. Lots of activity right now across those areas, maybe even some severe weather as well. Looking across the west of the area across Central America, we can see some amount of rainfall across Guatemala and Belize from now up until 10 p.m. on Thursday. Not that drastic, so we don't have up to an inch. It's only less than an inch of rainfall. Either way, we have rainfall. We know that when we have consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.